Welcome back to This Week in Showdown with your host, Bob. Again, going solo tonight. You just got me, and I know, I'm a day late. I get it. Busy schedule, but we are here, and we're going to review This Week in Showdown. Again, I don't know what's going on with my thing real fast here, but let's try this really fast. And there it goes. Brought to you again by Showdown Card Bot. Follow him on Twitter at MLB Showdown Bot, which is Matt Agula, and he does an amazing job. And the reason we can even do this so quickly every week for you guys is because of the Showdown Card Bot and the amazing work he does. Now, again, I go every week and just look at the last 7 days. Again, it's gonna be might be a little skewed today because Tuesday and Monday weren't supposed to be in here, but doing the best we can. And we're just gonna go right into it with Mr. Aaron Judge, looking like Barry Bonds over here from 2000, just looking like an absolute monster. Had 5 home runs last week, and a double, 6 RBIs, just absolutely crushing it. And again, I'm looking at some skewed data here, but he just tore it up because I know he went 0 for 3 yesterday. But the card itself, it looks monstrous. It looks like exactly what you'd want from a great outfield. Maybe a little bit high on the walk range here. But this reminds me a lot of a 9-16 home run card. It's just an absolute terror to perform with. Next up, Josh Fuentes for the Rockies here. Again, not a great card, but he had 2 home runs last week, and he had 13 RBIs. Just absolutely, basically doubled his RBI total for the season, and had like a 500 on base. You imagine what the card was before, but right now, pretty unusable. But it's kind of cool to see someone just kind of jump up. So who knows how bad his card was last week, but now he actually has a playable card. Playable is, I guess, the wrong word, but I have seen 6s with a lot of power do well, but again, not really draftable in this thing. Kyle Tucker, another guy who absolutely killed it last week, had 3 homers, and I think he had 7 RBIs, maybe even more. I think it was 7. Again, another card that you don't want, but again, I have seen this kind of card win in leagues when they run this card in like the 6-7, 5-6-7 hole, and randomly just get that mistake pitch. We play with mistake pitches, not everyone does, but randomly get that low roll from the pitcher, and you're looking at a huge home run range here. So 14 to 20, and even a triple here is monstrous. So I think that card would do wonders for most people. Next up, you guys might know this before. We had the great Max Muncy card a couple weeks ago that Jeff was raving about with the crazy low salary 10 on base B-speed guy. He actually did really well last week. Had 3 homers and a handful of RBIs here. Keeps his 10 stats because he keeps walking like a maniac. So it's a really strange card. He's got 2 base flexibility here, a 10 that homers at 18, but he walks 4 through 14. So it's like, that's actually pretty rough. And because of all those home runs, it jacks his salary up. So now I actually prefer the old card better, because I think you would have been able to play it and draft a little more. Now this card looks a little too steep, maybe, to draft. I don't know. That's a big walk range to kind of beat yourself up on. I really don't want to use a card like that. I guess it's up to the way your rotation is or your player pool, and see if you can fit a guy like this on your team. If you need a 10, that's what you get, but it just seems a little steep. Next up, you always pick at least one batter and one pitcher. We're going with the one batter right now that did awful last week, who you might know is doing well, or at least people might know the name, and that's Eddie Rosario, who now is on the Indians. Absolutely awful week. I think he went 1 for 20 or something. It was a bad week. He had 1 RBI, hit 100, less than 200 on base. Really hurt himself. And he hasn't been doing well this season with only 3 home runs. Now, the only thing that's been saving him is, I guess, the RBIs and stolen bases. But the card itself, 10 points, pretty unusable as a 5. I wouldn't want this card on my team at all. Luckily, though, we get to go look at pitchers next. And the pitchers will undoubtedly be a lot better. Freddy Peralta coming in at number 1 here last week had an amazing performance. He had 13 innings with no earned runs, 16 strikeouts, and 2 walks, bringing him to a 4 control 600-point card. A 4 through 17 out is an amazing card. What's weird here is the 5 IP and then the no doubles. I don't know if I guess I would rock a card like this. I mean, obviously I'd rock a 4 through 17 out, but the 5 IP is kind of scary, but that's the kind of pitchers you're going to get into these days. So you hope that you can get around that with a good bullpen, but pretty cool card overall. So I like to see it. Next up, we got Garrett Cole, who had a great card earlier season, and guess what? He's still been tearing it up this whole time. Again, yesterday he got a little beat up, but that was not when this card was made. So when this card was made, he had pitched 15 innings and only had like 2 earned runs. And so he had a 5 control, 7 IP, just a monster card, 18 out with no doubles. He's going to definitely come back to earth after last performance, but great card. This card's kind of ridiculous in a sense. I don't even know if this card's draftable because he's so expensive to draft. Next up, we have Alex Wood, who had a great performance last week. I think he just dropped off the chart this week. I'm having trouble locating him, but he definitely is the first time we've seen this card being performed. And he didn't drop off, but he only had 2 earned runs over the last week through 13 innings. So again, great card, great job by him. But having a great season, a 4 against 17 out. Now this one's got the 6 IP. I like this one a lot better, in my opinion, just because I get the extra inning out of him, and he's 40 less points. Don't know why that is, but that is great to see. And last but not least, we have Lance McCullers Jr. trying to make a little bit of a rebound here because, obviously I like him. I've always liked him. I've drafted him a handful of times, but he's always underperformed for me. It looks like all of a sudden he's having a good year. Maybe not, but he only had 1 earned run over the last week, 14 innings pitched with 14 strikeouts, giving him a 4 1 through 17 out. Now this one goes over the 600 point, which is a little steep. But again, this is now going to 1 single, and that's really what's driving this card. And again, just looks like a crazy card. It's interesting to see these 4 1 through 17 out cards. They seem interesting to draft, and I don't know how they rotate. I know like we had the Jacob deGrom was a 4 18 out card, which is absolutely dominating. So maybe these cards would just be just as dominating and definitely draftable. And last up, we have Sandy Alcantara. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. He had an okay season. That's why he's actually got a decent card here, and then gets absolutely blown up against the Dodgers a couple days ago. 8 earned runs in 1.1 innings. So before that, he was doing very well over the course of the season, and then that absolutely killed him. But it didn't hurt him too bad on the card so far. Well, hopefully he can rebound a little bit. I hope to see him do well because we're used to seeing him do decent enough. So that, again, is the Showdown cards this week. I hope everyone has a great weekend with these little recaps that we do. And hopefully next week will actually be on time and we can get another special guest. So thank you, everyone.